What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about things that Brits hate about Americans. What? Hate? About us? I mean, what could there possibly be to dislike about Americans, I tell you? Well, according to this article, there are exactly 12 things Brits hate about Americans. So today, I would like to go through these 12 things. I don't know, I guess see what we can do better at. So let's take a look. Things Americans do that Brits hate. What could these possibly be? Number one, aggressive patriotism. Yeah. Okay. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Are these all gonna be painfully true? Are these actually going to be good points? Now, don't misunderstand. Most Britons love their country as well, right? In fact, patriotism was at an all-time high during the Olympics and Queen's Jubilee celebrations, but Americans' love for their country is a different kettle of fish. Is it? Is our love for America annoying? Like, is it just too much? I could see that. I could see where at points that it could be a bit much. The average Brit won't take kindly to you using the phrases greatest nation on earth. Right, that is a bit arrogant, isn't it? God bless America, or chanting USA, USA, USA. Yeah, that's pretty annoying. Repeatedly, in the United States, you see the Star-Spangled Banner hung from every other building. Here you'll only find a Union Jack at the beachfront, or Skegness, or the beachfront of Skegness? I'm not sure what a Skegness is, but that's another thing. Maybe we're just jealous of how much pride you have. Maybe we feel a little awkward about the whole empire thing. Yeah, this used to be a whole lot worse in a way. I think in the modern day, like right now, like 2024, the overzealous American over-the-top patriotism has gone down a little bit just because it has like a thing to do with American politics and stuff like that. And yeah, American flags are also pretty widely displayed in a showing of patriotism. But even that has gone down a bit. Again, having to do with American politics. Like the whole overzealous American USA has like increased in some respects and decreased in others. It's weird, but I can totally see where that would be annoying. Yeah, you'd usually find someone kind of dressed like this, chanting USA. Yeah, that's certainly a thing. That's funny. Very true. Number two, mispronunciation of UK place names. Right. I've done a few reactions to, different areas of the UK, and I undoubtedly have mispronounced a lot of places. Like get an American to look at these two names. Leicester? Oh no. Lowborough, and then ask them to pronounce them. This, as the American here, Leicester, Loughborough. Is that's spot on, right? Totally perfect, right there, right? They probably will be unable to. Well, we know they're pronounced Leicester, Leicester, and Loughborough. That's Loughborough. It's Loughborough. And I stress, some Americans have been known to refer to them as Leicester, yes, and Loughborough. Yeah. This is funny because it is so accurate. I'm sorry. What do you want from us? We live our whole lives. We don't learn that much about places outside of the United States, which is kind of our fault. And as a product of that, we don't know how to pronounce things correctly. Yeah, I suppose we can't be too hard on you. We do like to pronounce things completely different to how they're spelt. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is spelt Loughborough, and it's Loughborough. Come on, how am I? It's not even fair. I'd imagine those from northeastern states are quite apt at interpreting the pronunciation of British place names. seeing as we creatively named every bleeding town up there after one of our own. Oh, really? Are there a lot of British names in Eastern United States? Northeastern? Huh. I didn't even know about that. They probably are. The Americans up in the Northeast are probably maybe better at pronouncing British names. I don't know. Number 3, therapy. Now you hate that Americans go to therapy? I don't know when this was written, but I think again now in the current day and age, like therapy is a lot more widely accepted. It's not this point of like trying to keep it secret or being ashamed of going to therapy. I think a lot of Americans have really opened up to therapy actually. Like that's actually a thing. Americans love their therapy. Yeah, I think that's true. They use it liberally, and why not? It's an effective way of raising issues with a mediator. Us Brits don't understand this. We're more for repressing our issues and deep seated anger and letting it bubble up later in the form of sarcastic quipping. So, this is kind of like a passive aggressive, sarcastic joke. It's not a bad thing, I think, that Americans go to therapy and that it's like the stigma around it has gone down and it's a lot more widely like normalized. And maybe Brits have their own way of dealing with these things, I guess. Letting it bubble up in the form of sarcastic quipping instead of going to therapy. Number 4, things Brits hate about Americans. Our hatred of jaywalking? Our hatred of jaywalking. Yeah, you're not supposed to jaywalk. Is that a bad thing that we don't want you to jaywalk? This is more of a personal one. When I went to America last summer, there was nothing the average pedestrian was called up more on than jaywalking. Really, for those of you that don't know, jaywalking is walking to the other side of the street while the road is clear, but traffic has not been stopped by a red light. In the UK, it's called crossing the road. Yeah, you're not supposed to cross the street just randomly. You're supposed to wait at the crosswalk and wait for the walking signal to appear. This isn't even really an issue with Americans anyway, because most Americans just drive. It's a pretty rare sight to see Americans walking anyway, or having to use crosswalks, so maybe that's why we don't like jaywalking. If it was something we were doing more of and having to jaywalk more often to save time, we'd probably be more open to it. So maybe that might actually be it. I understand why Brits could be annoyed at that. If Brits walk more, that might be it. All right, let's keep going. Brits hate Americans' love of American sports. We can't even have our sports now. Now, to be honest, we do get, this coming from an American, we do get really over the top about our sports. That's true. But that's kind of the fun, right? Isn't that kind of how, like, British football is like? People get intense. People of all nations will be reading this and in their heads shouting, yes. I didn't know people around the world thought about how we are a little obsessed with American sports. You know, just let us do our weird thing. Please. We hate your sports and everything about them. We hate the cheerleaders. We hate the pop stars doing the halftime show. The silly commercialized names. I mean, what is it? With the New York Red Bulls, the local derbies of the MLS are sponsored by car manufacturers, for goodness sake. We hate the pageantry. Sports in the UK are for getting merry and singing amusingly hurtful songs to the other team. This is very funny. Yeah, is American sports more commercialized than other parts of the world? I would have no idea, because I don't watch sports that are in other countries or anything. I don't really watch American sports that much, to be honest. But I think all of us Americans, we're very used to the commercialization, the marketing that's built into our sports. They're there to make money, and I think Americans have become pretty okay with that, actually. Most of all, we hate what you call football. Okay, here it is. You have tainted our favorite creation. This will always be a blip in American-British relationships, one which we will probably never forgive you. Fair enough, fair enough. It took me a long time as an American to even learn about what football was around the world, and that here in America, we took the word football, made it our own game, American football, and then renamed it soccer. I get it. I get why Brits might hate us for that, actually. That's a little strange when I finally learned about that. All right, let's keep going. Brits hate about Americans how much we love our accent. oh, how much Americans love British accents? Oh, I was gonna say Americans don't really care about American accents. Brits hate how much we Americans love the British accent. What? Just what? Let us love you. What? What's wrong with that? At first, we have to admit it's very flattering when you compliment us on our accents. In Britain, we aren't very complimentary to each other's dulcet tones, but you lot seem to love it. we do. We do. We do love a British accent, and I think it's because we don't hear it very often, and we certainly don't hear it in normal day-to-day life, or like a real live Brit, like actually in front of us talking. Most of us almost never hear that ever, actually. I think the British are a lot more exposed to American media, American like movies and television and content, and hear the American accent a lot more. And Brits are just over it. They're just like, okay, yeah, American accent, whatever. Whereas Americans are just like, whoa, British accent, so fancy, so cool. Is that really a bad thing, though? If you head stateside, you'll be greeted by Americans asking, where is that accent from? Before they politely pretend to have heard of a small commuter village outside of Huddersfield. Americans, we definitely will immediately ask about your accent, because again, here in the United States, a lot of us never even leave the United States in our whole life. And we don't interact with people outside of the US in real life. So if you're right there in front of us, it's special. It might be a little weird, even, how much Americans are interested. But it does go a bit far when you reel off lists of phrases you want us to say in British, which isn't a language, by the way. Yeah. There are stereotypical British things we'll want you to say, like chip chip cheerio, and I can see where that makes no sense and is annoying and stereotypical. In fact, some of our accents are as audibly offensive as yours. Also, do we always have to be the bad guys in the movies? We're not all evil. But British makes such great villains and great, also heroes as well. The British accent just is a superpower, man. And I know I'm doing exactly what the article says I shouldn't. I am fawning over the British accent, but it is what it is. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. These are pretty entertaining to me, and pretty funny how true a lot of these are. What are some more things Brits hate about Americans? Geographical ignorance. Yes. This is painfully true. Painfully true. I don't know what it is about American education, but we don't know much about the rest of the world. I mean, it's difficult enough for us to learn the 50 states and the capitals and our own geography. And I think Americans are a little self-centered, and we do have a problem as a culture of thinking we might be like the center of attention or really important. And as a byproduct, we just don't learn about the rest of the world, which is a major reason why I enjoy doing videos like this. Learning about Britain and British culture is trying to get out of my American bubble. But this is true, geographical ignorance. Americans cannot label a map of Europe, or a map of the world for that matter, if we were tested on it. That is absolutely 100% true. I like to know about geography, and I'm sure many of you are knowledgeable, but Americans seem to think London is the end-all be-all of Old Blighty. Yeah, Americans are obsessed with London. like that's the only place in all of the UK. You don't know the names of our counties, but I can name your 50 states. Really? Can Brits, like, name the 50 states? That makes me feel bad. That makes me feel bad because I don't know British counties. Americans, a lot of Americans don't even know the difference between England and Britain. Seriously. Wow. Let's keep going here. That one's painfully true. Painfully true. Yeah, I'll take that one. Number 8, taking credit for others' work. Brits hate Americans for taking credit for others' work. What have we taken credit for? Oh, maybe it's a bad thing that I don't know. Uh-oh. Americans and Brits have learned to avoid certain topics of conversation over the years, and at the top of the list are the events of World War II. A tip for all of you: never say to a Briton that you saved our ass in World War II, or that we'd be speaking German right now if it not for America. Wow, no, I would never say that. That seems like more of an older American thing. Like the younger generation of Americans, like we don't remember World War II, or it's even farther away for us in history. So we certainly aren't saying stuff like that. I hope. We appreciate your help over the years. We've been great allies to each other, but Brits see these comments as disrespect. Another thing that grinds our gears is when the American flag appears next to the English option on a language selector. I never thought about that. We would settle for a bisecting half flag of the states in the UK, but to ignore our flag altogether, we are not amused. Right. If you're selecting your language on a website, and next to English is an American flag, I don't even think about that because it's not affecting me. But there's other places that speak English, like the UK. Yeah, that is literally very rude. I could see where Brits could hold a bit of a grudge over that. Oh my gosh, let's keep going here. A few more things that Brits hate about Americans. These are all so far, like, I'm kind of shocked how accurate these are. I was hoping I could kind of brush some of these off as like, oh no, that's an exaggeration. We don't do that. There's nothing to hate about us. A lot of these have a little truth to them. 9, Brits hate our American chocolate. I think you'll agree. Our chocolate is better than yours. I don't know. I've never had British chocolate, but I've reacted to a video about why British chocolate is just better than American chocolate. Apparently, American chocolate is disgusting, sour, and I've just gotten used to it. Somehow, I've just gotten used to it, and Americans just think that it's the normal taste. And because we don't know any better, that's how it is. But I have heard this before, and apparently this is factually true, that British chocolate is better. I don't think many Americans, maybe Americans would argue with this, but I have an open mind about this one. I'd like to try some British chocolate. Do Brits taste American chocolate? Like, why are Brits hating on us for our chocolate? Is it because we're living like this life of a lie where we don't even know what proper chocolate tastes like? Or if Americans are like, American chocolate is better, okay, I could see that. But have many British tried American chocolate and you're just like, oh, disgusting? That'd be interesting. All right, let's see here. Number 10, Brits hate about Americans our spelling. The way we spell words. We hate the way you spell words. Okay. Why do you hate the letter U? Why do you love Z's or Z's so much? This is something I've never really thought about. If we're honest, this is one of the few reasons we prefer Canada, because Canada spells things like in the British way. Right, right. What? License and license. Oh, you spell license with 2 C's? Bogeyman and boogeyman. You spell it with 1 O? You spell aluminum differently? Aluminium. That's why you say aluminium and we say aluminum. That's why you say aluminium. I thought that was just a weird pronunciation thing. Moustache has a U? Mustache. Moustache. Oh my god. There's a lot more different ways we spell things than I knew. Yeah, I don't. Do Brits really hate Americans for this? Like, honestly, just because we spell things a little differently. Does it affect you? Maybe sometimes if you have to read our stuff and whatnot, but that's a funny one. Americans don't even think about that, like, because again, we don't know much about Britain and how Brits spell things, but I wouldn't hate Britain for spelling things different, so I hope you don't hate us for spelling it differently. All right, and number 11 of things Brits hate about Americans is our interest in our dental hygiene. Oh, Americans' interest in British dental hygiene. Yes, okay, this makes sense. Because Americans have a stereotype that British have bad teeth, bad dental hygiene. I don't know where this started. I don't know why this is a thing. This is a joke that's like in movies and stuff Americans make, and it's a stereotype that I don't even think is true. And I can see where this is just offensive on its face. Our teeth are not that bad. Yes, some of us have dental issues, but we're not that bothered. Yeah, well, a lot of Americans have dental issues. But what I heard about this once is Americans are really obsessed with how we look. We're obsessed with our teeth, in particular, having a perfect straight smile. And a lot of Americans look down on people for having bad teeth. It's part of American culture. It's very, I don't know, materialistic of us, I guess. And I think the British are a lot more comfortable with how they look, very comfortable with their teeth. British culture doesn't judge you for having teeth that are whatever kind of way, or that you've had work on or not. And I actually really respect that. And I would totally disown any American who judges British teeth, or anyone's teeth for that matter. I think it's just that British are more comfortable, like, not getting work done on their face and their teeth and stuff like that. And Americans are really, like, surface level about that. So, yeah, I totally, I kind of hate that about America too. I actually agree with that one. And finally, number 12. You Brits hate our American politeness. What? Why? Huh? First of all, this is the opposite of what I thought. I thought Americans were known for being rude, or at least annoying and opinionated and loud. But in this article, number 12 is Brits don't like our politeness? Okay, we don't actually dislike this. It just baffles us. What? What? It genuinely confuses the average Briton when in the US, a stranger stops to say hello, or helps you take a picture, or helps you carry something. Oh, interesting. Because in America, we are definitely very willing to talk to strangers, help each other, interact with each other when we're not being rude and selfish. There are a lot of Americans who are genuinely good people and helpful and willing to talk to strangers. That's not considered weird. So I think this thing where Americans will stop and say hello for no reason, or go out of our way if we see you struggling to take a photo, we'll be like, I'll take that photo for you, or carry something. When Americans in restaurants or shops are polite, compliment us for being good customers, or any American compliments in general, we immediately think to scour your faces for sarcasm, and we find nothing. Our brains nearly explode. Our overly cynical mindset simply cannot cope. Because in Britain, this would be like sarcastic behavior, or like an alternative motive or something. Whereas in America, I guess maybe it's a bit more genuine. Like, yeah, say what you want about American culture, but it's kind of nice. One thing, at least, is a lot of times Americans can be genuinely kind and nice for no other reason. And that's nice when that happens. And Americans will talk to you for no reason. And at stores, the people who work there will say, like, I hope you had a nice day, and can I help you? And they might bug you. It might be annoying, but it's kind of nice. So that's a funny one to end on. And with that, that's a pretty dang interesting list of, here's the American, here he is, the super American that all Brits picture when you picture things you hate about Americans. I gotta be honest, there were a lot of good points on this list, actually. Hate might be too strong a word, I hope this is just things that Brits kind of dislike about American culture. And as an American, I can say there were things on this list I agree with, even that we could do better on. But this was just a fun little list I wanted to take a look at. There's no hard feelings or anything, but it was an interesting insight into how the British kind of think about Americans a bit, I think. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with your opinion on things you hate as a Briton you hate about Americans. That might open a can of worms, but whatever. That'd be funny to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.